All right, everybody, welcome to a new series here on Madden 26. This is basically a break off of what we were doing initially with the Salt Lake City Elk series, but I wanted to do a little bit of a twist here. So, situation is we're creating a new expansion team by removing a current team right now, which is the Arizona Cardinals. Arizona Cardinals are gone. We are in the NFC West, and our goal here is to create a new franchise, which San Diego is a location that would love to have a football team again. I think this city is probably more of a baseball town than it is a football town, but I do believe like it could really work out here, and we wanted to pay an ode to the military. And I live in San Diego, and I definitely see this. So, a lot of planes, helicopters, Ospreys going off, and not too far away from the Marine Corps Depot or the Navy base. So we're going to be the San Diego Aviators. Now with the Arizona Cardinals, right, they have a current roster, and what we're going to do is similar to what we did previously, which was we took everybody off and no one will be on the roster at this time. Now, although that's what we did previously, the twist is now is with the cap that I have, my goal is to see if I can bring in some of these pieces starting off with this new franchise. So we're gonna have to renegotiate with a lot of these people, see if we can bring them in, see if they would love to play for us. Now with that, right, I'm not trying to bring in all 30 people. I think you could probably bring in a handful that you would love to negotiate and be some potential foundational pieces, but the remainder you could bring back in the free agency competing with other teams. So this is right after the Super Bowl. The Seattle Seahawks won. You can never simulate what actually occurred, but the cool thing is Sam Darnold is the MVP. It actually was Kenny Walker, but it is what it is there. Matthew Stafford is the MVP. They made Ashton Genty the Rookie of the Year, which was wrong. It was Tet. And then Xavier Watts was a Rookie of the Year, which was wrong. It's actually Schlesinger from the Browns. So they never get that stuff right. Defensive player, Miles. I could see that. And then offensive player was McCaffrey, I believe. I don't believe Vrabel was the Coach of the Year. So we're starting right after that. And with that being said, right, there were some retirements that occurred, and we'll check those out. So you had players like Jimmy Ward and Danico Autry, Harrison Smith calling it a career. You got Javon Hargrave. You're looking at Kevin Zeitler, Adam Thielen. You have Cam Hayward, Leonard Williams, DeMarcus Lawrence, and Cooper Kupp. They get their Super Bowl and they retire. Saints, you see Cam Jordan, Taysom Hill, Demario Davis gone. The Commanders lost everybody, so they have a chunk of change to prep themselves. Zach Ertz and Austin Eckler, they're gone. The Ravens lost a decent amount of players, including DeAndre Hopkins. The Rams, they ended up losing Matthew Stafford to retirement in this series. Havenstein retired in real life. You got Higbee there as well. Raiders lost a couple. Tyler Lockett is one of them. Lions lost a couple guys. Nothing too crazy there. The Giants, my favorite team. Russell Wilson, Van Rotten, Steny, Roy Robertson Harris, and Nacho Roches ends up retiring. Trent Williams for the Niners retired. Lane Johnson, in real life, he actually is coming back, which is kind of interesting there. Grover Stewart, Phillip Rivers. So no Kelsey retirement. There was no Aaron Rodgers retirement. So could we bring them in to the mix here for the San Diego Aviators? Dalvin Tomlinson retires here. Calais Campbell calls it a career. We lost Aaron Brewer, our long snapper. Kind of interesting there. Levante David, Sterling Shepard is gone. Garrett Bowles retires. Wow. The Bills, they finally let Matt Prater retire. Case Keenum is gone. So a decent amount of guys. We wish them the best. Before we jump in to how we're going to build this out, we're going to go ahead and check out the settings. So here are the settings we're using. We're actually using Tommy Koa's settings. He actually has it set up where you are watching both teams, and I will never do that. I think that's a little insane. So we're going to try this out. It is on all Madden sliders. 9-minute quarters, 25 seconds is the acceleration clock, no cooldowns. on the plays there. We're going to have auto progress player on, ball seeker on, heat seeker on. Trading, everything will all be enabled. I set it up to where we'll keep it on during the off season. We'll turn it off during the preseason, turn it back on around, right on week 3, and then kind of turn it back on in week 6. Week 7. I do that because if you keep the trades active in the beginning of the year, most teams aren't trading players like that. You typically aren't trading a player till you approach the deadline. And then that kind of makes it all work out from there. So that's why I try to do it around week 7 or 8, because I think it allows trades to occur that are a little more realistic around the time frame, and then we're not getting anything crazy movements all throughout the thing. For this series, what I'm going to do is for stage 1, we're going to go ahead and keep it on 3. Where basically if you bid correctly, you can get up to 9 players in that stage. Stage 2 will be up to 10 players per phase, so up to 30 players, and then unlimited there. But when this season's over, we're going to turn it to 1. We're going to turn it to 3 on stage 2, and then 10 on stage 3. So we'll see a lot more movement for priority in these stages next season. These X Factor or these dev traits right there, we're going to turn superstar abilities off, but this is all based off the XP sliders, which we'll talk about shortly here. We're keeping wear and tear on. I think all this stuff works. To continue the gameplay sliders, this is what we have here from Tommy Koa. Pretty evened out. Surprisingly, like when I initially looked at these sliders, they weren't this default, but I guess with the update recently, that's what it looks like right now, where we're seeing that there's really no concern in that space right there for having to make crazy adjustments on the gameplay sliders. But we're gonna try it out. We're gonna see what we can do here. I'd like it to be more for like accuracy. I'm gonna drop this down to 40. Kind of want to see what that does there. Accuracy maybe more like 52, kick power maybe up to 52 right there. But the injuries, this is what they have. Like initially it was like number 10. I think it was like 10 in the main menu, and then 27 here. This is what they're saying in this Operation Sports one. So we're gonna try it out. Hopefully we don't see a whole bunch of people getting smoked. But this is where I'm hoping, man. It's not going to be that kind of crazy there. I was definitely surprised by that. I mean, the 13 minutes, 13 seconds, I tried that out. I didn't really feel any much of a difference. I actually thought the game played well on pro settings, but he moved it to all Madden, so we'll try it out. He updated these sliders very recently, actually. These were edited as of yesterday, February 20th. So very, very recently. So we'll see what we can do there. XP sliders are for Funky Corm. I actually like these sliders here. I think these are pretty clean. I haven't seen anything too nuts. No crazy retirements. But these all kind of work out to where we should see some gradual progression and regression along the way. So with the retirements, right, we're going to head to the next stage for our coach Xavier Klein and see if we can bring in some dogs. Players, people got fired and stuff, but this is what we're rocking, all level 1s. We're going to build this thing from scratch, and I truly believe in it. So let's get to the situation here. You got players that are legit, but do we get to keep them all, right? Trey McBride, he is not about this. He doesn't like us. He wants to be closest to home. He played for Colorado State. We don't have a franchise QB. We'd have to spend a lot of money. And for a 4-year deal, you're looking at closer to about $18 million. I'm probably going to have to spend closer to like 23, 24 million if I want to keep Trey McBride. Now, 26 years old, you could probably extend the contract to a massive one to where you have Trey for the long haul, or you let him go. Buda Baker would like to stay. Josh Sweat, not so much. Paris Johnson, not so much. MHJ wants to leave and go somewhere else. Walter Nolan, Michael Wilson would like to stay. Jalen Thompson Will Johnson, not so much, but these are all, some of these youth movement here is what I'm looking for. I would like to bring a lot of these guys back because I feel like they could be some decent staples as we continue to grow this series. So 53 players are on this board. Let's start out first with Trey McBride, right? Can we bring him back? If we were to ask for a friendly deal, a very friendly deal, it would be closer to $23.4 million for 6 years, $140 million contract for a tight end. And to be honest, I don't think that's that crazy. I think you have a reliable tight end like this, I think it can work out. I'm okay with it. It's a lot of guaranteed money up front, but look at the salary, folks. The salary does not grow. It's a cap hit that is only $26 million in 2031, and as we continue to grow the cap space, we're going to be just fine. So Trey McBride, we would love you to come here, and it is. So we make the huge deal. He decides to come back, and we love it. Buda Baker, we're in a rebuild situation, and I don't think Buda should be there. Josh Sweat is another guy. He's asking for $20 million at 31 years old. There's no abilities on. I would rather just kind of let this guy go, try to find some youth in that edge space there. Paris Johnson, on the other hand, though, is 25 years old. If we can get him for a decent amount at where he's at, I think that is more than fair. If we can get him for $25 million a year, I think that's a pretty good steal right there for a young left tackle. You want to make sure that blind side is good, and I'm glad to do it. So, oh, he didn't take it. Paris Johnson didn't like it. So, no good there. Now, MHJ is a big target. He's not asking for a lot. Could we bring him back? I mean, I'm cool with trying to bring him back for like 14 mil a year for 4 years. So, I think that's a steal for a potential, like, very high ceiling of 27.9, a very high ceiling for MHJ. So we need a new left tackle. Walter Nolan, very young guy. He's not asking for a lot, about 10 mil. I mean, if we can get him, I mean, a 4-year deal for $13.5 million. I think that's a fair move for a DT to kind of grow here. He's only 22 years old. He's going to test the free agency. So we got to figure out defensive tackle there in that space. Michael Wilson, do we bring him back? He's asking for a 3-year deal. I mean, that's not that much at all. I think you have these 2 wide receivers and you roll with it. And I'm pretty happy we got him for a very chill deal. He'll be 29 when his contract's up. Jalen Thompson would like to rock with us, and I honestly don't think that's a bad deal for us. That's $10.8 million for a free safety that I think can work out. I'm glad we get that part done there. Looking at the rest, right? Will Johnson, I'd like to bring him back. He's not asking for a lot. I think you give him like a $7 million a year, $21 million. He wants to test the free agency. He does not like it. So no on him. Wait, did we get him? I don't know. Trey Benson, no. Mac, no. Murphy Bunting, Baron Browning. Garrett Williams, 25. I think we'll try to grab something else. Zay, no. Max Melton. What is he looking for? A 3-year deal. I mean, if he can, great. Nope, he's not going to take it. Man, some of these people don't want to be there. BJ Ojolari, I mean, he's asking for a 1-year deal. I mean, if I can give him a 3 years, what is that, $7 million? I think I'm going to wait on that. I don't want to bring him in if he's not going to if he's going to cost me that much. I like Dante Stills, but none of these guys want to rock with us. Corey Kiner, halfback, no thanks. Kalen King, Jacoby Brissett. I think we're good with where we're at. I don't think there's anybody here. Not a long snapper, he's a tight end. I think we're good. I think we're going to let everyone else walk. So let's look at where we're at from a transaction standpoint. We get Will Johnson, get Jalen Thompson, we get our 2 wide receivers in MHJ, and we get a prime staple in Trey McBride. I think this is huge for the Aviators. These are the youth, and we're going to have to battle it out now for the remainder of this roster here. One of the things too I wanted to bring up is with this series, I want to get longer episodes because I feel like just watching one game is not enough. I'd like to do a little bit more, maybe even talk about some of the development of the roster to include the draft. This initial draft won't be like that, but I'd like to dive deeper in future episodes for this series. So that's what we're going to rock with there. As far as free agents, Buda Baker is the number 1 person there. You got Devontae Adams out there. There's Travis Kelce. But let's check out the quarterbacks first. You're looking at Daniel Jones as the main catch right now. Now, could Daniel Jones be that guy for us? Maybe. The thing with Daniel Jones right now, he's got a ruptured Achilles. He will not be back until maybe week 39 weeks from now. So when you look at 39 weeks from now, that would get you to about, 9 months. So he won't be here until maybe early reg season at best. So like maybe week 4, week 5. So do you take a chance on someone like Daniel Jones? I don't know. You got other pieces out there, right? And one person that comes to mind immediately is someone like Aaron Rodgers. He's not going to cost you a lot. He's a guy that could potentially be just a nice little mentor and in a bridge. His deep accuracy and everything, not so great. But can you bring someone in like Aaron Rodgers to kind of hold the line until we figure it out? Or do you bring in someone like Marcus Mariota to just hold the line? I mean, you could take a chance and say, hey, man, give Drew Lock the ability to be the dog. Maybe he can do it at 29 years old. Maybe he's ready to take it to the next level. You also look at some of the other guys here that never really got a chance, like Kenny Pickett. Maybe you let Davis Mills rock it. He's 27 years old. And there's been talks right now in real life that they think Davis Mills can run the offense for the Texans way better than CJ Stroud. So, I mean, there's some possibilities here at quarterback for the Aviators at this time. Running back, there are some teams that players that would like to play for us. Even Trey Benson, who initially didn't want to rock it, but we could go after someone like Alvin Kamara for the Aviators. He's a little older, right? He's 31 years old, but you bring him in and maybe he can work through it and allow us to kind of wait for certain players that I think could be the future. I think Emmanuel Wilson could be a really nice piece here for the Aviators. Sean Tucker from the Bucks could be really solid. So there are some possibilities here that I'd be pretty happy to go for. We just got to see if we can do it. Kamani Vidal is another one I would love to have on this team. As far as wide receivers are concerned, you know, they got some pretty good candidates. Alec Pierce is out there. Wan'Dale Robinson's out there. Devontae Adams, a very good vet. You got Deebo Samuel. Rashid Shaheed gets to the Super Bowl and he's like, I'm out. Romeo Dobbs, that's another good piece right there for the Aviators. Good target that might be able to work out for us. Christian Kirk. You got Kendrick Bourne, Jalen Naylor, Rondale Moore. Some pretty good wide receivers for us. And I don't think these are some bad picks there. You know, I don't want to get too crazy with it. We got $217 million in cap space. But that could work out. Now, we do got Trey McBride. But imagine, folks, having a tight end like Travis Kelce for this new franchise. He gets to rock it here with the San Diego Sun. And he gets to be a part of the very new franchise. Could you bring in someone like Travis Kelce to work through it? He's not going to cost a lot. $14 million a year, not bad. You could go with David Njoku, who's 6 years younger and very, very much more athletic. And that's not a bad combo. Isaiah Likely could be a pretty slick one, but I see other guys like Jake Tonjes that could be pretty helpful for us in this space behind Trey McBride. You could even go after like Brevin Jordan or something like that. There's some There's some other pieces. Jelani Woods. This is a guy that I thought was going to be so good for the Colts. He was just on the wrong team, dude. Mo Alley Cox didn't get as much, opportunity there. Then they bring in Jelani Woods, and they just don't have the right guy to work through it. I think Jelani Woods would be an incredible tight end for the Aviators. Now we're gonna have to bid, right? Paris Johnson, he's looking for a new home. Can we do it? We'd have to go, if we can't get him, we'd have to go after some other players here. And, Braxton Jones, he's okay, but then that means we're going to have to look for a tackle down the road. So $20 million a year for Paris Johnson is not bad. He's looking for a short deal, but I'm wondering if I can give him like a 3-year, 4-year deal and kind of work with it there. Left guard, Joel Bitonio. That's not a bad freaking player to have on the squad. I mean, and then you can look at some, okay players like Ben Powers or something like that. The centerpiece, Froholt, he's looking for a new home. 30 years old. I mean, I think he's still got a couple more years left. Where that might be not a bad move there. Wyatt Teller, that's a Pro Bowl type guy, but you could also go after Ed Ingram and be just fine there. Right tackle, this is where I could see myself taking a chance on some of these vets. Jermaine Illuminor being one of them, but we could also just go after Jalen Moore or Josh Jones and be just as happy there. There's some edge rushers that aren't looking too bad, like Arnold Biddicke. We could go after Yetur Gross-Matos. He's not going to cost us a whole bunch. Defensive tackles, DJ Reader, Christian Wilkins as an Aviator would be kind of fun. Tyre Tart right there. I'm looking for space eaters in the interior line. We want defensive tackles that are just going to hold the line there to allow our edge rushers to gut home. Joey Bosa would be fun. Josh Sweat at 29 is rough, but I mean, you can go after a guy like Jalen Phillips. Issue with Phillips, right, is he definitely has injury concerns. If he gets hurt, that's going to mark you guys quite a bit. So we have to think about that along the way here, and maybe, just maybe, it works out. I mean, Malcolm Rodriguez is one of my favorite players coming away from the Lions there. I would love the Giants to go after him. I just know he's gonna ask for an amount that I think could make sense for everybody. And for me, I'd be willing to give him $4 million a year. And I think we can outbid anybody else in that space there. But you look at like a veteran like Devondre Campbell, that's not a bad move on that space. Mike linebacker, I'd love to go after someone like Nakobe Dean. He'd be a really nice focal point for us there. Will linebacker, I don't want to get crazy, but I'd love to go after someone like Micah McFadden there. I mean, Drake Thomas isn't bad coming over from the Seahawks. He's got all the abilities to attack, and that's not a bad consolation prize if we can't get McFadden. Corners, I mean, you got some guys that want to play for us, but like Taylor Britt, I've just seen him get burned so much. I mean, we could go after someone like Greg Newsome. Looks like the Jags didn't keep him. That's a player right there that could be a really nice CB1 or CB2. Murphy Bunting would like to work with. I would love Kadir Kahu from the Miami Dolphins. He's a very solid slot corner. So, I mean, we could bring in a vet like Tre'Davious White. We can go after Nashawn Wright. He's 28 years old. I really like how this guy plays. Martin Emerson Jr. is another good corner as well. So we can get some former Browns corners with no issue there. I'm not an Adoree Jackson fan. Hell no. Umadi's not bad right there. Free safety. I mean, we got Thompson, but do you try to bring in someone else? And Kobe Bryant's another guy I'd like to bring in. Strong safety. I mean, Julian Blackman from the I think he was on the Colts. Did he go somewhere else? Maybe he was traded or something. Yeah, he was with the Saints, and then looks like he went to, I wonder if he got hurt or something. Yeah, he had a torn rotator cuff, so that took him out quite a bit. We were ready for week 1 for us, but that's something to pay attention to there. Ashton Davis, not a bad depth piece. Jabril Peppers wouldn't be bad either. Kickers, I mean, I'm probably going to look at someone like a Charlie Smythe, 25 years old, just sign him for a decent contract and be okay with it. And just like the previous one, I just grab Stonehouse and be cool. We do need a long snapper. So I am paying attention to that. I think you take a young snapper and just kind of roll with it. Don't sweat it. And then if anything, you know, what a lot of teams do is just use a franchise tag on a long snapper. It's not too bad. So that's where we're at with it. I'll let you know which players we decide to go after and who signs with us in just a moment. So we finished the free agency market with 57 players. So we're going to talk about who we signed. We ended up bringing back Hjalti Furholt, the center. Jalen Phillips, the youngster here who had some injury concerns, ended up getting picked up by the Eagles. They did not re-sign him, so we took him for a 2-year, $31 million. Try to see if he can have a little bit of a renaissance here in San Diego. Picked up Cam Taylor-Britt, snagged up David Edwards at left guard. Nakobe Dean coming over from the Eagles as well is going to be our starting Mike linebacker. Jair Alexander, just a cheap deal, $5 million to bring him over here as a corner. Kamani Vidal coming over from the Chargers. Kadir Kahu, good slot corner. I'd like to see him kind of rock it there. Charlie Smythe is our new kicker. Alvin Kamara, good veteran. Cheap deal, man, $3.6 million deal. Giving him a chance to Marcus Robinson, very reliable wide receiver there. Yetur Matos coming over from the Niners, 2-year, $60 million deal. Martin Emerson from the Browns, I thought that was a cheap deal for about a little over $12.5 million. Joshua Uche, another Eagle we bring over. Fatu Kasi coming over from the Texans, 4-year deal. Max Melton, we brought him back, and I think he could be a very solid corner for us. Troyan Shoyenka, he was with the Bears. Previously, prior to that, he was with the Buccaneers. Jawan Briggs, big freaking interior lineman, 6'1", 313. Dalton Reisner, good reliable guard right there. Chris Tonga, I think this is another good space eater right there in the interior. Picked up Drake Thomas from the Seahawks. Cam Robinson's our new left tackle. Christian Harris, also another Texan there. Bo Melton, we're going to have him play corner and play wide receiver. Jalen Moore is our right tackle. Tinsley, I want to see if he can do it, man. He had some amazing catches in the preseason last year. He just happens to be behind some ridiculous wide receivers in Higgins and Chase. Sean Tucker coming over from the Bucks. Trevor Penning, he signed as a right tackle, but he's probably going to be a backup guard. Sam Mustapher, left guard. Louis Sign, he was an Eagle as well. They picked him up, put him on the practice squad. Now he's going to be our guy in strong safety. Jack Browning, bringing him in to be our punter. Isaiah Foskey's another guy I really like. And then here you have it. Aaron Rodgers here, our quarterback. He's going to be competing against some youngsters that you're going to see in a minute. Marco Wilson, another corner that I really like. Mo Ali Cox, big target, 6'5", 267. Caden Stearns, another strong safety that I think can really help us out. Andre Dillard right there, backup tackle, very reliable. He's a swing tackle. Zach Pickens, another interior lineman that I think can really hold up. Xavier Smith coming from the Rams, he's sneaky. Bryce Ford Wheaton had some injuries. He's a giant. Just never really had a shot, and he just had back-to-back years of injuries, and I think there's a chance that he can work out. Jelani Woods, I didn't realize how bad he was from an overall standpoint. 6'7", 253 though. Can't teach that. Big targets help us out. Jamin Davis, Mike linebacker. Ben Neiman, Mike linebacker. We got Brock Hoffman, a backup center. Evan Hall, I think he could work out for us. Didn't cost us any bonus money. And there it is. There's our other quarterback right there, folks. Zach Wilson. He's got an arm. He's still young. I think this can work out. Troy Reader from the Rams. We picked up Rashad Torrance, free safety. There's Bailey Zappi, another deal. Not guaranteed. We're going to see some competition here. Chaz Surratt, Sam linebacker. Akeem Dent, free safety. And we picked up our long snapper in Chris Stoll. As far as across the league, you'll check it out here. Daniel Jones is with the Tennessee Titans, backing up Cam Ward. Kyler Murray heading to the Falcons. I don't know what the heck they're going to do there, man. $69 million deal for 3 years. Malik Willis to the Raiders. Gardner Minshew to the Rams. Jacoby Brissett's a Raider. Huntley's a Colt. Mariota's a Raider. J.K. Dobbins goes to the Saints. Tyler Gio is a Commander. Rashad White is a Jet. And Benson is a Commander. Wide receivers, Adams goes back to the Raiders. 2-year deal for $54 million. Alec Pierce to the Ravens. Wan'Dale Robinson is a Commander. Oh, Deebo Samuel's a Lion. Rashid Shaheed to the Rams. Woo, that's a move. Romeo Doubs is a Dolphin. Hollywood Brown at Charger. Christian Kirk as Steeler. Travis Kelce going to the Broncos. This one's crazy right here. I mean, you got Evan Ingram, but I guess that's not bad there. And Joker says, I'm going to go to the freaking Seahawks. Darren Waller to the Jets. Okonkwo to the Dolphins. Isaiah Likely to the Commanders. Where did Bellinger go? I saw that. He Titans. Ugh. Paris Johnson. He saw Trent Williams retire, and he's like, get me over there. It was less than what we were willing. Like, I was willing to give him like closer to like $26 million a year. He took a 2-year deal for $20 million to go to the Niners. Jedrick Wills to the Broncos. Braxton Jones to the Ravens. Not bad there. Joel Bitonio's a Charger. John Simpson is a Niner. So they kind of set up that group there. McGovern to the Panthers. Mays to the Bills. Teller's a Texan. I think that's good. And Ingram is a Jag. Fa'alele to the Browns. Evan Neal's a Titan. Braden Smith to the Chargers. McKivitz back to the Niners. Trent Brown to the Niners. Interesting move right there. Illuminor's a Commander. Jadeveon Clowney to the Texans. DJ Reader to the Saints. Wilkins over to the Falcons. Rankins to the Niners. Bosa goes. He's like, I'm chasing that Super Bowl. $21.5 million. And he's going to the Seahawks. Sweat to the Eagles. Back there again. Khalil Mack is a Raven. Wow. Malcolm Rodriguez to the Giants. That's a move right there. That's a big move right there. I like that. If the Giants did that in real life, I wouldn't be upset with Malcolm Rodriguez as a dog. Micah McFadden to the Raiders. Kobe Durant is a Seahawk. I think he was a Seahawk. I mean, no, he was a Ram. He was a Ram. Where did Kobe Bryant go? He went to the Colts. Ooh-wee. Buda Baker's a Steeler. That's a Steeler move. So not bad right there, folks. We're going to head to the draft list in just a moment, but you know, when you look at where we're at with this team, I don't think it's that bad. I think the Aviators are set up where we're an 80 overall offense and a 76 overall defense, but this is not a bad lineup. I think you got some reliable receivers all across the board right there. Weapons for any quarterback, whether it be Rodgers, Wilson, or Zappi. Defensively, it doesn't scream like crazy, but when I look at what we have, there's some dogs here, right? Jair Alexander, he'll be back. But if Jair doesn't make it, I think having Max Melton there wouldn't be bad to have him start alongside Will Johnson. So, you know, when I see that, is he going to let us move it down? It won't even let us move it down because of the injury issue for Jair, but I think the line's got some work, but these are some hidden gems, man. Fatukasi's a dog. Briggs is a wall. Pickens and Tonga do their thing as well. So I think we're going to surprise some people when it comes to this offense. Specialist roles, again, I think we got some good. We're going to go three-headed monster. So I'm going to let Tucker be the power back, Vidal third down back, and Kamara be the gadget in the 2-down back. So I think that's going to be helpful there. But when you look at where we're at, right? Scheme fit 84%, defense 95%. So scheme fit can make a huge difference as we move forward. But we'll jump into our draft board in just a moment. So when you look at our prospects, we have a little over 65 here. I made sure to put every QB that is out there because it looks like we scouted them all with these scouts that were already pre-put in. But, you know, we're trying to heavily focus on what could help us out. And I'm looking at some pretty crazy athletic freaks on the top of this draft. You look at the quarterbacks, right? We're a top 3 pick. Technically, we can go for it, but we got to look at what the mocks are going to tell us. Sam linebacker, you know, Gavin Fletcher or Damian Fells. I'd love to have one of these guys. Getting a Sam linebacker, a legit side linebacker, really could solidify that second level there. Kind of continue to grow out this defensive space. There's some solid corners. There was a wide receiver that I liked in Mateo Sanchez. I thought he was kind of interesting there. This halfback was intriguing to me. Manuel Alonso. He's a power back at UCLA, 23 years old. Similar build to like Charbonnet, but when you look at it, this guy's truly a north-south kind of guy. He's a late round pick. It says third and fourth round, but he's probably closer to a day 3 pick more than anything else. But, you know, I look at somebody like Cole McKinney, 23 years old at Clemson, A, ball carry vision, A, break tackle, A, carrying. These are all solid moves right there. Combine was better, still a north-south type of runner, though, but this is a guy, right? A, pass block, that's very key right there. If you can pass block pretty well, that helps you out over time. There were some pretty good players here. I think Eric Santiago, 6'3", 214. He's a bigger build, but he's an all-around solid wide receiver from a combine standpoint. A spec catch, B catching, A awareness. Like, I mean, you have him alongside some of the guys that we already have. You know, we could see some potential competition there. Put a lot of left tackles, late round guys, but the one that I liked was Zach Thurman. He's a UDFA. So potentially out there in the 7th round, I think would be interesting. Strong as hell, but he'd be more of a project piece than anything else. So it'll take some time to develop him. But that was a guy that I thought that was quite intriguing. You know, we're pick number 3. We're not close. So do you take a quarterback now? I'm just not sure. I wonder if we trade back a little bit, giving us an opportunity to kind of maneuver where we can. Maybe that can help us out. I think you rock with the quarterback that you have, and if you can get a legit offer, I say why the hell not? Take it. There was a defensive tackle that I liked. This was Skylar Steele. All the attributes for this guy scream he's legit, but for some reason he's a projected UDFA. So you take him, maybe he can compete later on. So that's another 6th, 7th rounder that I'd be down to grab and kind of work with there. There was a halfback that I liked. I think it was Jamian Westbrook. 5'10", 203, 4'3", like a freaking high 4'3", 4'3", 4'3", 4'3", I mean, you can't teach speed, and when you see some of that right there, hopefully he can really differentiate himself down the road here. So I like what I have so far. Future series episodes, we're going to be a little bit more in depth, but this is a clean spot, and I'm looking forward to jumping into the draft. So this was the last mock draft. So they got Calvin Peterman going to the Raiders, Christian Hayes to the Jets. So the top 2 quarterback prospects are gone. They have us looking at Rafael Torres, and that wouldn't be a bad move there. Denzel McGee, top 5. You got Pat Ross. Christopher Pace was the other guy that I saw that was a really solid wide receiver there. He's heading to the Chiefs in this mock. Warren Russell would fall at pick 13 right there. Brandon Carmichael, left tackle to the Jets for their 2nd first-round pick. Eric Long, that guy's a freak, dude. A freak athlete at strong safety. He'd be going to the Eagles there. And DeMarcus Holiday, pick 29 to the Rams. And there's Gavin Fletcher right there to the Seahawks. So if we traded and we go after the Sam linebacker, we would have to go probably closer to here to probably take that linebacker, which is a pretty fair spot for the positional value there. But you take someone like Rafael Torres. I mean, this is a top freaking 5 guy. Everything screams like this guy could be legit there. When you're at that part of the draft, I mean, you just take the best player out there. Are you willing to trade back? Well, we'll see as we move into this one here. So the first pick is up here for the Raiders. Let's see if it works out. And the first pick is chalk. It is Calvin Peterman, quarterback to the Raiders. You got Christian Hayes right there. He is quarterback to the Jets. So the top 2 QBs are gone. Now, what are we willing to do? Are we willing to move all the way back, folks? You got the Browns saying, hey, man, we'll give you a first and second this year, 7th. Titans will give you their first next year, second this year. Nope. Seahawks says, man, we'll give you all 3 first-round picks to go to pick 22. Are you willing to do that? That is a lot of picks right there. That would be pretty awesome. Commanders are not willing to give us a current pick. The Vegas Raiders aren't. The Patriots, they're willing to give us all 3 first-round picks for the next 3 years, along with the 6th to go back. That's nice. I mean, the Packers aren't trying to give us. They don't have a first-round pick this year. They lost it to the Cowboys. So when you see that right there, right, like, what do you do here? We get their 2nd this year, 2nd next year, 2nd in 2028, 3rd this year, 4th next year, and a 1st next year. It's a lot, but it's not enough in the package there. Jaguars willing to give us some picks there, 1st round and next year and the year after. 2nd this year, not enough. Niners, 1st round this year, 2nd round this year, 1st round next year, 4th round next year, 7th this year, and a 7th next year. Falcons, they don't have anything. Eagles, they don't have anything I like. And then the Colts. So, I mean, if we were to trade, we'd have to go all the way back to get 3 first-round picks. Is that worth it, right? For our first pick in this freaking franchise. Do we do it? I mean, if we do that, there's potential to see a huge trickle-down effect of everyone else moving around. Now, this is our first pick in this franchise. We can get a top pick, but in my opinion, it's not enough. And if someone's willing to give you 3 first-round picks and some additional 4th next year, 6th next year, I think you take it. You take the freaking 3 first-round picks and you don't hesitate, because the Aviators just aren't there yet. We got some time, and I'm happy to do it. So the Seahawks are going to move all the way up. The Super Bowl champions are going to move all the way up to the top 3 pick. We're okay with that. Seahawks are on the board. Did they do enough? I think they're going to take the guy that we wanted. They go after Pat Ross instead, folks. Whoa, the Titans are up. They're going to go Nicholas McKee. So the things start to get moved around. Denzel McGee, he gets taken there. You got Rafael Torres there. Nice pick. You're looking at the Commanders taking Christopher Pace, another wide receiver. That was the Chiefs pickup. Trevante Finn to the Saints. And then you're looking at the Chiefs going after Calvin McDonald. So things are getting moved around. Corey Gordon there. Not too bad. And we're going to advance to our pick. Let's see what happens here. Does anyone get picked up? Damian Fells and Gavin Fletcher. So things got moved around. You can see it right here. DeMarcus Holiday gets picked up by the Rams early. Something spooked them, and they said, you know what, we're going to take the quarterback there. And then they go after Gavin Fletcher for the last pick to move things around. That is one Sam linebacker there, and then Damian Fells was the second one. So those were the projected Sam linebackers that were within that range. Unfortunate for us, he is no longer there. So we can start looking at some other guys here, right? You got Pat Howe. He's still out there as an edge rusher. I mean, can you be upset with that? You can go after Darrell Green, right? A 6'4", 228-pound wide receiver that is screaming like this guy could be a very, very good piece for us. You're looking at Eric Santiago from Michigan. This is another projected first-round guy. His release is a little different, but his athleticism shows a whole lot more than the last receiving prospect. With that A awareness too, that's freaking clean. So when you see stuff like that, you go, do we do that? Nico Torres is another very good player to pick up here. It's a safety. I mean, I wouldn't be upset about snagging someone like Nico Torres there. He's got A catching. We do need a strong safety, A awareness. Everything screams like this guy could be that all-around DB that you want to have in that backfield there, or excuse me, at that third level. So we can go after Carson Watkins maybe in the next round, because we're coming up in like 3 picks anyways. And Carson Watkins looks like a very, very good prospect to grab. So more to come here. I think when it comes down to it, you take what you can get. And at the position value that we're at, I think a safety is not a problem. You know, there are some other pieces here that I thought were intriguing. And BJ Woodward, I don't know if he'll make it to us in the 3rd round, but I think knowing where we're at, you got to take a legitimate player right here. And we're going to go ahead and grab Nico Torres, 22 years old, coming out of Penn State. All his combine attributes scream great. All of his core attributes scream great. I think what you do here is you take the man 6'2", 219, and you ride with it. Welcome to the team, Nico Torres, the first Aviator draft prospect. 18 in true value. We drafted him at 32. Can be trusted with a variety of zone coverage concepts. Not a burner, but decent speed. Average recognition leads to inconsistent play. Hidden dev, baby. 90 speed, 91 acceleration. You got a prospect here that has the potential to be a starter from day 1. Love it. So we head to the next pick there, and let's see who gets snagged up here. The Raiders are going to take Pat Howe, the right edge, and BJ Woodward from to the Jets. So the Jets and the Raiders have incredible freaking top, you know, their first 3 picks are insane. So now you got to think about it, right? Do we continue to grow with the other pieces that we have here? Because there wasn't anyone in day 2 that was incredible. I mean, I look at someone like Marco Garcia. I think he could be a solid one. I think we can go after Aaron Pritchett later too. So I think, what do you go after? You can go after a Carson Watkins. This guy had some good attributes. 6'3", 308, 21 years old. I mean, this is the athlete that I wanted in the 2nd round, and I think he can help us out. He's so young. We can build him up, and that helps us out with the edge rusher, right? We get a guy that can build there. It's another defensive piece, but I think it helps us out. Welcome to the Aviators, Carson Watkins, 62 in true value. We drafted him at 35. Routinely converts leverage into power for rushing. Normal dev, unfortunately, but I think you take the guy that's on your board that you believe in, and you work through it there. We're going to head to the 3rd round. A lot of players getting snagged up that could have been ours, but you want to work with what you got, and I feel like we got some good players there. There's Lance Johnson getting taken on that one. You still got Arnold Andrews out there. You got some halfbacks in this space that look pretty decent. Chauncey Goodwin from Idaho looked like a good player there. It looks like the guy you wanted isn't there. So do you go after some of these guys that are potential falls here? And I am willing to wait 1 more round. I'd look at a running back potentially. Chauncey is a freaking solid running back. But do you want that in the 3rd round? I mean, Deshaun Pemberton, he's this elusive guy that's got the most ridiculous speed out there. It's a 3rd round pick though. Is that worth it? I don't really believe so. I mean, I look at what we have here in Mateo Sanchez. He's that playmaker type guy. I thought he looked pretty good. You look at Grayson Stevens. This is a Mike linebacker here. He fits with what we want to do. He's an athletic freak. And when I see that right there, you want to get the defense as best you can there. And I think that's what we do. I want to take him. 23 years old. Welcome to the team. 41 in true value. Drafted him at 67. Hidden dev, baby. You make it work. You continue to build this defense out with the draft, and you got to be happy about it. Now, will our guys fall to us at 4 and 5? I'm hoping so. I mean, these guys are really deep in the draft, but you just never know, man. Like the CPU just snagged one of our guys that I didn't expect to be gone. So, you know, will they still be there? It looks like they are. And I'm going to go after a left guard here. We need to get some youth. He's 21 years old, out of Penn State as well. And he screams like an incredible player there. He's projected to be day 3, which we're at, but he's more of a round 2-3 talent, and I'm happy about it. Welcome to the team, Aaron Patchett, B+, good pick, 76 in true value, drafted him at 99. Mental lapses are too frequent. Hidden dev, we're going to grow him, let him be behind our veterans, and we roll with it there. I'm happy about that one. I think that's a good move for us. So we are in the 5th round. You know, nothing too crazy there. I think you could make it work on this one here. And a lot of players are no longer there. So Marco gets snagged up before we can do it. You could go after a QB. Madison Fowler, right? Ohio State. Nothing screams incredible about him. You got Davian Rogers. He's got a cleaner setup here. He's more of a statue, as you can see, but his power is elite. I think you can work with that, see what he can do in this space. We only got 2 quarterbacks, you know, we got 3 quarterbacks, but no one's guaranteed. I think comes in the pocket, league average release time, beautiful spiral, gets happy feet. I mean, you make it work here, and you hope for the best. Welcome to the team, Davian Rogers, 183 in true value, drafted him at 131. Unfazed by pressure, dynamic playmaker outside the pocket, great touch on short passes, 94 throw power. I mean, you make it work, and he's going to be behind some good vets, so I can't be upset about that right there. Head to the 6th round. This is where you hope that the dart throws become successful, and there's a player that was a UDFA that looked really good in this spot. Will he be there for us in the 6th round? We're gonna find out right now, and he is. So I want this guy right here, Skylar Steele. The fact that he has all these attributes as a UDFA is ridiculous to me. He's good discipline, won't get flagged, often looks to rip the ball, has a motor, will utilize leverage, swift arm. He's got all the attributes. We do need help in the defensive tackle spot, and I think when you got a guy like this, this could be the steal of the draft. Welcome to the team, Skylar Steele. 11 in true value. We drafted him at 163. Moves QB off his spot by pushing linemen into the pocket, able to disengage blocks in the run game. With the hidden dev, we got a dog, folks. What a pickup right here to start the draft. You got to be happy about that. That is a 6th round pick right there, and he could easily move up the depth chart very, very quickly with what we're looking for. We got 1 more pick left. Nothing too crazy here, right? We didn't really maneuver in this draft because I didn't feel like we needed to. I think you took the players that made sense and you worked through it. Now, you got some guys here that are still on the board. I mean, you can go after a Sam linebacker there. There's some defensive, some offensive tackles that are still there, right? I was looking at Zach Thurman, that big freak of a guy who's not really that great when it comes to everything else, but with that B awareness, it was intriguing to me. Everything else, not so much. He's got so much work to do there, but is he worth that 7th round pick? I don't know. I look at these other guys like Tomas Jaramillo, who's 5'10", 175 out of Washington State. That is just a straight freak. We need wide receivers that can change the game right there, and technically we need more of a halfback than anything else, but I think Kamani Vidal and Sean Tucker behind Kamara are going to do just fine. So when it comes down to it, it's, do you want the bigger receiver in Jermaine Burnett, or do you want that freaking lightning in the bottle right there in Tomas Jaramillo? I mean, when you look at these guys, it could work out. I mean, the other piece that I was looking at was Mateo DeVito here, 6'1", 245. He had all the attributes to be a solid linebacker, but I think we picked up some solid ones already. So I want to take a dart throw, and I want to go after Tomas here. I think this will help us out over time. We grabbed a left guard already that we needed. Already. We need a tackle for the future, but I think that could happen down the road. We have the strong safety that we drafted. We grabbed a right edge that we can move to left edge to fulfill that need. We grabbed a Mike linebacker. I think we did everything we could. We even grabbed a quarterback. So this all works out for us here. Let's check out what Tomas Jaramillo does. 200 in True Value, drafted in 195. He's a speed burner, struggles to make catches, but you can't teach that, man. You know, we'll try to see if we can get him out there in the special teams maybe, and hopefully, just hopefully that could work out. We'll sip the rest of the series there, of the draft, but all in all, not too bad. It looks like someone's trying to give us a trade offer here before we head to the preseason in the next episode. That is Jair Alexander. I mean, they're willing to give us a tackle, Troy Dye, straight up, Ty Hamilton, and a bunch of picks there for Jair Alexander. You get Brendan Rice from the Raiders. I mean, these are all interesting, but none of them. Moro Ojomo would be fun, but I think we got that DT already. A.T. Perry would have been fun. Krishawn Williams. I mean, all these picks look, these moves look interesting. The Ty Hamilton one's very intriguing, but we don't need another DT. Straight up, Troy Dye, doesn't really care. I think you rock with him. You don't worry about it. And you kind of roll with it there. So let's check out our draft recap here. And I think we did well. You got Nico Torres, right? 75 overall. This guy is already going to be on the top of your depth chart. And he's got all the abilities to be the dog. So I think Torres is going to be a nice factor for us. We grabbed Christian Watkins here. Although it says normal dev, I don't think there's anything wrong about how he's going to start off here. He's a bigger type of edge rusher. So when I see that right there, I'd like to work through it. We're going to give him like a number 56 on that one. So the Aviators draft class for the first two picks look solid. And then we go after Grayson Stevens here, a hidden dev, Mike linebacker. You wanted to go after a player here that could be a difference maker, at least in special teams. And this is a very, very good player right now with the hidden dev trait. He's a little older, but I think this could be a solid player here. He's going to probably be our first captain out of this draft class, though. It's going to be kind of neat. We then went after another offensive lineman, and Aaron Pratchett, to me, with a 72 overall, is such a huge start at 21 years old. This guy is going to grow into a dog. Now, his injury is a concern, but my hope is that he can survive and be ready to roll and take the reins down the road. Davian Rogers, a little bit of a reach, but, you get a guy with a big freaking arm, you let him rip. Why the heck not? He is much of a statue as a QB, but we'll check him out in the preseason and see how it goes from there. And this was the big move. Skylar Steele, a UDFA, making it all the way, this will be another captain here, to the freaking back end of the draft. 6'3", 353 out of South Carolina. He truly is our nose tackle there. Block sheds at 78. Play rec at 76. This guy is going to be a dog for us at nose tackle. I really like that, man. That's huge right there. And then we went after a wide receiver here, mainly because of that lightning in the bottle type of opportunity. 95 seed, 94 acceleration. His kick returns is an 82, so maybe we can use him there, but I really like how we ended that. As far as the rest of the division, right? What is it? It's the Seahawks, the Niners, and Rams. So let's see what the Niners did. They drafted two dogs. Dylan Ritchie, 75 overall. Juan Rodriguez, 75 overall. Strong safety. So they took a guy that was pretty much the same as us. Really solid, strong safety there. Then they grabbed Cam Nugent, and then they snagged a guy right here, Nico Tafoya, though. That's a good move at the very end of the draft. when you look at the Rams, the Rams go after DeMarcus Holiday. They needed a quarterback. They get it. They get Gavin Fletcher. They're the Sam. That's the guy I wanted, but the rest of the draft, not so crazy. And then the Seahawks, the Super Bowl champions, they didn't have much picks, but they went for it. They grabbed the Pat Ross there that they really wanted. In the edge rush, they go after Cedric Burge there. A left edge in Alonzo Spence, and then they grab another halfback in Jamario Edwards. So I really like where we're at. When you look at our roster and what it'll be, I don't think it's too crazy to say like what'll happen in this space here. Let's see if the generate will do the right thing here. It did not. It screwed everything up. So I got to fix this, but this is what it would look like initially. No one's really going to pop off on the offense. Defensively, we're going to see Torres and we're going to see Steele out there. So you're talking about a guy that already has an opportunity to be a day one starter. We're going to let him play in the back for the preseason and kind of see how it works out. But 2 starters there. Stevens behind Nakobe Dean. I think that's going to be really fun. Jaramillo, yep, I figured that was going to happen there. That's a good move, right? We're going to let this 7th round pick kind of play special teams. And we're going to go with the 3-headed monster. I really believe that's going to be the move right there. And, you know, we'll fix everything else. But pretty solid group. I mean, we're an 80 overall. 77 on the defense got improved because of those draft picks. But not a bad situation there. We're at 64 players. I don't know if I'm going to pick up anybody else. I'd like to just kind of leave that as is. But Aviators are, that's where we're going to start, man. It's going to be fun. Next episode will be the preseason. I'd like to see how that kind of goes there, how we kind of build it out and see how that works out. Looks like across the league there were some trades that occurred. We'll kind of check that real quick. Let's look at what happened. So Grady Jarrett gets traded to the Colts from the Bears. The Bears trade Grady Jarrett, and then the Colts trade Anthony Gold, a current 6th and a 7th for that move. The Chargers trade with the Seahawks. They trade away Jordan Birch, the guy that we had on our team before, trades Jordan Birch to the Seahawks, along with a 5th and a future 6th for Derek Hall. The Jets then trade with the Steelers. They trade Braylon Allen, a 6th and a future 7th for Darnell Washington. And there was our big trade right there. I thought that was pretty neat. Oh, the looks like during the free agency market, Nick Herberg goes to the Bills. Deontay Walker straight up. Wow. Browns trade. Look at this. This is crazy. So the Titans got Daniel Jones, and then they flip him immediately. Look at this move. They get Quinshon Judkins. Because they need a quarterback so desperately, they trade Quinshon Judkins, a 3rd and a 5th for Daniel Jones. The Bengals, they send a 7th round pick and Taj Brooks for Cole Kmet because they love Colston Loveland over there so much. Wow. Ben Johnson got busy, huh? He was a dog. Crazy. But that is what we will where we'll leave it, folks. If you like what you saw, please drop a like, leave a comment, tell me what you think. And most importantly, subscribe to keep up with this new series. Like I said, the episodes are going to be longer moving forward for this series, but I'm looking forward to it. I got to figure out a new saying for this one, but for now, let's go Aviators.